Welcome to Live from the Gardens, a Animorph podcast about animals and how to be a convincing Animorph. This week, we'll be talking about the osprey and the horse, two of the animals we encountered in Animorphs number 14, The Unknown, the book we discussed last week on the Dork-Bajir Chronicles. My name is Mikhail, the host.
I'm Tessa, the expert.
Oh, God.
Holy God. Sorry, I just need a pause after that.
He needs an emotional break.
Hey, and I'm Brayden. I'm very excited to hear about horsecock.
Yeah, it's intense. That's like going to be one of the last things we talk about, but I'm pretty excited also. Let's just jump into it.
Let's jump right in.
Let's just jump into it. For the osprey, question number 1. Oh, let's recap scores. So Tessa's at 57 points. Brayden has 63 points. Currently.
Bullshit. I'm so bad at this game.
Actually,
you're pretty
it's
close.
Shit.
It's horse shit.
Yeah.
Brayden just took a shit in front of me.
Brayden.
Okay. Question
again.
number 1. Where do Western ospreys live? And by that I mean what continent/countries? Like not in the mountains. I mean like
not in the West. We can't just say that.
Geographically, where do they live?
All right. Are you gonna pick? You're gonna pick one of us to go first.
Yeah. How about Tessa? You go first because you're in last.
All right. I'm gonna say that they live in North America, spanning from Alaska, BC, a bit of Alberta, and then most of the western half of the United States. Probably going to Montana and then like down.
Okay. Good answer. Brayden?
I'm going to say same as Tessa, except I am going to theorize they reach all the way down to the bottom of California.
Okay.
I mean, I said that too.
You're
So-
both
You
wrong.
said Montana.
Either way.
Yeah, Montana's
So-
in the middle. That's kind of the middle of it, and then you go all the way down to the
Midwest.
bottom of the states, Brayden. Anyway, we're both wrong. What's
It
up?
doesn't matter anyways. I tuned out as soon as you didn't say the real answer, which is almost everywhere in the entire world.
Oh my
except
God.
for like the subarctics.
There's not like
The
more
entire
than
world.
there's not enough
Yeah.
species of osprey for them to be different. There's like 5,000 fucking species of cockroach, but there's only 2 osprey. One of them's
Actually, there's
west.
apparently only 1 osprey.
Oh my
like,
God!
2
Now I'm
subspecies.
mad.
Holy. What sort of Game of Thrones bullshit led to that?
I don't know. They're just amazing adapters, I guess. I mean, they don't live like in every single type of habitat, but they're found in almost every country in the entire world. And they okay, so some people say that there's 4 subspecies, but really, like, there's some argument over that, whether there's only 1 or 2 or 4. Doesn't really
That's
matter.
because the species is already an argument in itself, right?
Yeah.
Once you start getting into subspecies, everything can be declassified. This is Osprey Declassified coming to Nicktoons this summer.
Also, it's kind of like they're so similar to each other that is it really a subspecies? Like, that's the argument. It's kind of like the gray wolf.
Yeah.
I remember that was an issue like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, question number 2. Ospreys almost exclusively eat one type of prey. What is that? Brayden, you go first.
Fish.
Okay. Tessa.
Correct, it's fish.
You're both right. It is fish. In
Yeah.
fact, 99% of their diet is fish. They're what's called piscivores.
Ha!
That's not that funny.
Piscivore! Hello!
Well, it's like how-
I'm a piscivore. I've swiped right on you on Tinder. Won't you come over and look at my Andalite buttocks?
Why is he like a weird Victorian, like, fuckboy?
I don't know, but I like it. It sounds like
Okay.
it sounds
That's
appropriate.
the sort of dudes Tessa swipes on Tinder.
That's true.
Piscador, hello. Come and see
Uh,
my extensive categories of capes and cup hats.
Okay. Ospreys have a number of like evolutionary adaptations that help them fish. Name at least one of them that isn't something that all birds of prey have. Right, so you can't say like amazing vision. It's like, yeah, obviously, but every bird of prey has that, right? What's kind of like maybe not exclusive to the osprey, but definitely a lot more exclusive than something like feathers. Tessa, you're up first.
Okay, well, like those are my two things. Was that their eyes are more adapted to seeing into the water, so they can easier like more localized good vision through seeing through water and reflections, and that's why they talk about in the books about how osprey are really good at seeing through windows. So Marco and Cassie do a lot of the peeping Tom stuff, and Rachel too, because they hunt for fish so they can see through windows. I'm gonna say that they've got some nice big fat claws that are good like fish hooks, so they can hook into the fish. And I will say that their feathers are.
No, you only get one. Braden's next.
Oh, I thought I got two. I thought I got three.
No, you just need to name one.
Damn it.
That's okay.
Well, I got two at least.
But the eye one doesn't count. I already said that.
Ugh.
So I'm counting your
You're counting
claw.
my fish claws? Good.
Fish claws, yeah.
So the way that osprey have evolved a very unique stature, where like sort of instead of being like straight birds, they can sort of crook themselves,
Just like
so that
Braden.
they can essentially like dip down, grab the fish out of the water, and their wings will be like 90 degree lines with the water, and then once they've grabbed the fish, they can push upwards instead of just like coming in like this and having like scramble downwards. They can just like go vertical.
He said 90
From the
degrees,
water.
but I'm pretty sure he meant parallel with the water.
Yeah, no, I know what he means, but that's not it, unfortunately.
Good, because that was fucking crazy.
I'll go through. That would be very cool if that was a problem for them, but because their bodies are so light, I don't think that it's ever an issue for their like snatch and takeoff, because they do kind of like a slow down flap, right? So I'm gonna go through the list of everything that I could find, anyways.
All right.
So one of the cooler ones that I could see was that their feathers around their feet are actually like oily like
and
there's
waterproof.
oil
That
on
was the
them.
second thing I was going to say.
A lot more than the average feather is. Their nostrils can actually close 100%.
What? That's
yeah.
dope.
I knew that one.
Yeah.
How do you know that, Braden?
It's just
I used to be into birds.
chicks.
Like, you want to know what, like, if birds need to close their nose if they're bobbing for apples or something?
It's kind of a cool thing.
It's super cool. I'm just like weirded out that Braden did research before our Live from the Gardens quiz show.
I didn't do research. It's just like a tidbit
Also,
I picked up when I was a kid.
Tessa did research on raccoons before we did the raccoon.
I
one, if
literally
I'm not
just
mistaken.
read like the opening thing that said like raccoons in the Latin name, and then I felt guilty and exited out.
All right. Next thing was reversible toe. So they actually have, unlike a lot of birds of prey, one of their toes on their talons can like flip like almost
Damn,
180
son.
degrees, so that they could better like
The attack on a
manipulate
claw.
to grab a fish, which is
Yeah.
slippery, more slippery than the average
know,
thing.
Oh my
I
god,
feel
you know
like-
what? I knew that. I was just talking about that yesterday with one of my coworkers.
Oh my god!
too.
You
What a
fucked
coincidence.
up, Braden. You know what? I feel
He
like
was just-
I knew
he
that
was
one
talking
too.
about-
With the toe.
Using his thumb like a can opener.
Okay. There's a few other ones, but the one that's probably going to be of most interest is they actually have something called, I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, spicules on their feet, which are pads that have barbs on them
Oh, nice.
for grabbing fish. So for that reason alone, I'm going to give Tessa a point.
Oh, get some!
He doesn't look interested at all.
I don't care. I'm doing a dance.
All right. Question
My
number
victory
4.
Dance of glory.
What is roughly the largest an osprey's nest can be, or like has been observed to be?
Oh my
this
God.
will be Braden first.
And like, what kind of units of measurement, Mikhail?
Feet or centimeter, like metric, it doesn't matter.
Okay, but that's
Repeat
like
that
it's not
question
like half
exactly
a car.
one more time. I think it might be a trick question.
Sure. What is roughly the largest an osprey's nest has been observed to be? That's like not good wording.
5 feet.
5 feet
Wide,
Wide.
yeah.
Okay.
God damn it,
Tessa?
Braden! I was gonna say fucking 5 feet. I'll say four
You
and a
can't
half.
say 5 feet.
I will say 4 feet.
Okay. Braden's closer.
Oh damn it!
It's actually 6.5 feet.
No, I thought guessing 6 feet too.
Nice.
So that is actually, those nests weigh about 300 pounds.
Yeah, they're huge.
Because of
they make
all the
them
shit on them,
super
right?
big. I also just don't know what size anything is. Like you could say something is like 4 feet by 4 feet, and I don't know what that is. Is that like a printer, or is it just like a big dog? I don't know.
Okay.
I'm really bad at judging volume and size. I'm also really bad at animal trivia. So.
Okay, question number 5. This will be
Me.
Tessa first, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
How long does it take for an osprey chick to leave its nest after being born?
In this economy, probably like 30 years.
Brayden?
Kick it! Real
Oh, wait.
answer.
A real answer.
4 months.
4 months. Okay. I mean, I got a number in days. So what is that in days?
Oh, fuck.
That's
Okay.
120 days. Perfect.
120 days.
So you have a number in days.
It's after
12.
2 days.
Sure. The real answer? 69. It's the only reason I picked that question.
Damn it.
Hey, Mikhail, that's why osprey are the only birds that can close their nostrils.
Wait, what did Brayden say? 14?
Yeah.
14? Oh, who's closer then?
I am.
Me.
No, both of you are saying me.
Fucking
69
Brayden's like a
minus
little bit
14,
closer in terms
55.
of math. But in terms of the spirit of the
Oh
thing,
shit,
it's
Tessa's
me.
closer by 4.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my god! 69!
Osprey mating. Osprey mating is pretty.
Do they hold hands,
Tame.
Mikhail?
They don't hold hands. It's kind of like the seagull one, where they just stand, like the male stands on the female's back. Do you know what I mean?
And just like
Yeah.
It's ready to
squirts on her?
get down and dirty, and squirts with the cloaca. Yeah, definitely. There's
God,
nothing really
Kate.
too intense about it.
Total sidebar, but can you imagine 69ing with a cloaca in front of you? Just
I don't know
having
if
to
you
get
could 69.
messy in that?
Because the cloaca is on their back.
What?
Wait, no, is it? No, it's underneath their tail. It's
underneath where the
their tail.
butt is.
Wow,
It's
we
like
don't know anything
in
about
that
animals.
area.
This is
Oh
so
my
bad.
god, Mikhail, you're supposed to be teaching us.
I know.
You thought the cloaca was on the back. That's gross. It's just like an
right.
all-purpose orifice, man.
It kind of is. I think they piss out of it as well.
Yeah, I think
Really
so.
I think some turtles have a cloaca and they can breathe through it.
What?
Yeah.
Shit. Can they shit out of it?
Yeah, no, it's like cloaca is kind of
No.
the catch-all term for they've got one orifice at the end and they use it for poop and they also use it for laying eggs.
Yeah. It makes sex really uninteresting though.
Yeah, because it's
It's like alien, I'm passing a vessel. God, fucking.
so dispassionate. I look at my osprey partner and they just close their nostrils and also their eyes and also their heart, and I'm just they're just so far away. They're so far away from me.
It's almost like they don't have eyebrows to express emotion. All right, horses. Question number 1
Better
for
get all of these
Brayden.
right.
I know, right? Because I know Tessa knows a lot about horses, apparently. Question
I
number 1
was
is for
so into them.
Brayden. What is a filly? And okay, it relates to, just to narrow it down, it relates to.
Horses.
Well, yeah.
And sex, correct?
Okay, yes.
It's a
And it relates to age as well.
It is an adult female. No. It is a young female horse.
How young? Give me a number. Just so that we can compare it if Tessa says the same thing. How old?
Gray mare, she ain't
Bet he knows a
what
nursery
she
rhyme.
used to be. Okay,
Brayden, why'd you sing that so softly? It was like you were a child star in a horror movie.
He was rocking back and forth also, just kind of
His eyes just open up and he's just got those long horse pupils in
Yeah.
them. Just
He was also
"My
scratching his arm
name's
really hard.
Brayden. I'm the new
Brayden.
Brayden.
between 1 year
Yeah.
and 4 years.
Okay. Tessa, what's your answer?
All right, filly, girl horse, under 1 year.
Okay, so what I found was a female horse under the age of 4.
Oh, damn. But
So I'm going to give that one to Brayden.
Because, okay, Brayden said just between year 1 and year 4. When a horse is just born, it's also called a filly. So in that regard, I was right.
No, it's called a foal.
Yeah, it's called a foal.
It's called a foal, but
There's
it's
actually
also
a lot of
a
words.
filly.
There's a lot of words for horses, but in order to not give everyone all the points all the time, I'm going to give this one to Brayden because this was a lot more specific to that.
Okay.
Tessa, you're first on this one, though. Question number 2. What is the difference between hot-blooded, warm-blooded, and cold-blooded horse? Here's a hint. It doesn't literally mean that they have cold blood.
No, I know. I'm going to say it relates to their temperaments. Like a hot-blooded horse is going to be one that's like fiery with a spirit. A warm-blooded horse is just like regular, and a cold-blooded horse is very lethargic.
All right. Brayden, what's your answer?
Yeah, cold-blooded horses are tired. Warm are sort of in between active, and hot-blooded horses are very, very active.
'Cause I'm hot-blooded, check it and see.
I got a fever of 103.
Nice.
Come on,
baby, go you do more than dance.
Oh, hot-blooded.
I'm hot-blooded. I'm hot-blooded.
So hot-blooded horses are typically race horses, or alternatively, like cowboy horses.
Okay.
So they're built for speed and
faster,
like endurance at top speeds. Whereas a cold-blooded horse, there's nothing wrong with a cold-blooded horse, but it's more
domestic.
Yeah, it's made for like tilling soil. So its endurance is more of a torque versus top speed, if you know what I mean. And then a warm-blooded horse is just somewhere in between.
Is in between. Yeah, it's like between a truck and a Ferrari.
Yeah. So in this case, just because
But
you guys...
they all have horsepower.
Yes.
Hey.
I knew that joke was going to come out at some point. Question number 3, Brayden.
Oh, Mikhail,
what
we're
is...
just horsing around.
All right, get it all out of your system.
3 little kids, count 'em 1, 2, 3. Just need a home and a family.
But then this horse said, "Come live with me."
Now they're boom, 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 horsing around. Boom.
Oh, it's BoJack. Okay, I did not get that reference at first. All right. Brayden, what is hippotherapy? Hint, it has nothing to do with hippopotamuses.
Yeah. Hippotherapy. Like it's not even tangentially related to hippos. It's not named after hippos.
Nope.
Okay. Hippotherapy is when a man horse loves a lady horse and they get married.
Yeah.
The man horse has to ask the lady horse's parents for their blessing. But they have to fight. You see, not hippo culture, sorry, horse culture demands war and blood.
Yes.
So the male horse must prove himself in combat with a female horse's father. But an alternative way that some horses have found to do this, a way of getting around it, is they go through a therapy, they are a very advanced civilization, horses.
Yes.
It's a temporary sex change, essentially. You see, horse culture has recognized same-sex marriage for quite some time.
Okay.
And it's
You can't keep it straight.
yeah. And they use hippotherapy as a temporary sex change to get around this loophole. And so when, oddly enough, they use it exclusively for this and not actual transsexualism, who the fuck knows? Horse culture is still very backwards as well. Mm-hmm. And then they get married while both horses are still female, and that's hippotherapy. But my real answer is,
I was gonna say, I've got like a whole like world building post on Reddit for this.
It's a type of therapy that injured. It's when they shoot the horse.
Okay. Tessa enjoyed that.
No, hippotherapy, my friends, is when the doctor gets the really big long glove and he puts both of his hands inside the same glove and reaches into the horse's urethra. Now, because horses are so large, their urethra is also really large, and because of their diet,
I never would have guessed.
they don't drink a lot of water, so sometimes it's very common for them to get kidney stones, and their kidney stones will get stuck in the urethra. So the doctor will put both of his hands together to try and grab the kidney stone, while on the outside, a fellow doctor is like massaging the horse's hips to help push the muscles, to help push the kidney stone back. And
Oh God!
they keep these stones, and that's what they call treasure.
Are you trying to describe hungry hippos as though it were two people operating on a horse?
The real answer, Miguel,
Okay.
is hippotherapy is what they use. It's like physical therapy or emotional therapy with horses.
Yes, that's correct. So hippotherapy
Don't get ahead of yourself.
is a general
I
term.
remembered.
It does mean one specific type of therapy, but people use it to mean all types of therapy. But people with physical or sometimes mental, I hesitate to say disabilities, but like setbacks, shall we say, people use horses a lot. That's like a really popular thing.
'Cause you
is
can
using
really-
horses to help with that.
Well, people really bond with horses, right? Like, there's a whole, like...
Yeah, and horses are very like protective feeling, if you know what I mean, because it's so powerful.
Because
but
they're
it's also
really
your
big,
friend.
but they can also be really gentle, yeah.
So hippotherapy specifically refers to, or is supposed to specifically refer to, a type of horse therapy or equine therapy, where the horse moves on its own, and the rider has to adjust to that. The rider's not allowed to move the horse. Not that that's really important, but anyways.
Ooh, interesting.
So that one, Tessa gets that one.
Nice.
This one's for Tessa first.
Okay.
How well can horses taste food?
I'm going to
Just
say...
give me like relative to,
relative
the
to
average
regular
animal.
animals. I'm going to say that
Yeah.
horses can taste food pretty good.
Mhm.
And that horses have favorite kinds of food. Like in one of my Thoroughbred Ashley books, there was one, they ran into a horse that would only ever eat the kidney stones of another horse. And it became like a big plot point about how they had to like find a sick enough horse that they could pull kidney stones out of, so that this other horse could get his proper salt intake by licking the stones.
Why didn't they just buy salt?
Because it was like a special, it had to be soaked in the horse's sweat, and the easiest way to do that was to get it from the urethra.
Urethras don't sweat.
Horses sweat in their urethra, that's another point.
Popular
I will say,
headcanon.
short answer, yes. Also, you have to make sure they get a lot of these kinds of visits before any kind of hippotherapy with like the battles before marriage, because the stones can help will stop your battle muscles from being ready.
And then they can use the stones in their horse slings
No, Mikhail, they don't do that.
to defeat. Oh, that's ridiculous.
That's
There's no way.
ridiculous. What are you talking
I'm just
about?
inventing. All right, Braden,
I
what's
will
your
say
answer?
yes. Yeah, short answer, yes,
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah, horses have a fine sense of taste. I actually learned this from an anime about bread. You see, all
Oh, God,
horses
the bread
are
anime?
lactose intolerant. So their new boss and teacher, this super manly dude with like a mustache and an afro, taught them that they needed to make a bread that horses would eat. And the way, so that they knew it was lactose free.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
So they made a special bread. But anyways, your answer
Horses
is
have good taste.
yes. That's your answer. Horses have a very advanced sense of taste.
Woo!
They've abandoned Art Deco. They've moved past modern. No, I'm just kidding. They have prehensile lips actually, and these lips will help them sort through food, which is one of the reasons why we think they have favorite foods.
They got
or
very
at the very least, they can
delicate
distinguish
lips.
between foods that are bad for them, and they can pick out like seeds and stuff. I did see a note on a couple things that say that horses, in certain cases, have been known to eat fatal amounts of toxic plants. So I don't really know, like,
Well,
what
maybe those toxic
that
plants
means.
taste really great. We don't know. Everyone
guess.
who's eaten them has died.
I guess that's true. Okay, so that was let's test. Okay, Brayden, this is for you. What are wolf teeth?
Okay, so this goes back to having to talk about horse culture, actually.
Of course.
See, back in the wars, the wars, I mean, not just the skirmishes going on these days out in the Red Lord's desert. Like the first wars, when horse and wolf worked as one to forge the Mulligal blades.
Yeah.
They had to use parts of themselves to make these blades, to forge the pact, the literal alliance they were making. But obviously, there were outliers. There were people who didn't want to be part of the alliance on the horse and wolf sides. The horse-wolf alliance, they made their own swords, the Mulligals. These are kept in museums, sometimes still used by officials, lords. I believe Prince von der Schreck, he wields one himself. He still uses it in those Red Lords wars.
And he's a big figure in horse culture.
Yeah.
Oh,
Huge. Like he's crossed over. I think he's currently marrying one of the Prime Minister's kids.
Of Canada?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I heard that too. They're betrothed.
I heard that was forbidden.
It is. They're
He's
trying
the
to rewrite
prince,
some laws
Mikael.
to make it okay.
Anyway.
But there are a couple
It's a
people who are
culture.
looking to
But
make that bad.
the separatist factions, the anti-wolf horses and the anti-horse wolves, they had to make their own blades forged in magic from their own bodies. So they were all actually amputees.
Naturally.
The horses wielded what are now known as hoof clubs, dark, cursed artifacts that they had to bathe in the blood of their own children.
Wait, the horses had to use them?
Yes.
How did they hold it? In their mouth? Are we leading up to
Where else, Mikael?
that? Yeah, you're right. How could I question this?
The wolves, actually, they chose to go for quantity over quality. They loaded their bows, crossbows, with ancient teeth. Only the old had to give up their teeth. The wolf culture very much did not appreciate age. At least they didn't think elders needed teeth.
Yeah.
They are receptacles for old tales and information, but
Receptacles?
receptacles, yes. But not much else.
Okay. Wait, what are wolf teeth then?
The wolf teeth are these arrows, these magical arrows.
Okay. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, Mikhail, keep up.
But it's actually eventually many of these wolf teeth actually fell into possession of horses because the ammunition was spent.
Yeah.
And then ended up in the possession of horses. So they are now considered horse artifacts.
So are they considered like war trophies by horses? I mean.
Yeah, but they in the same way. But they also use them themselves in their own archeries now.
In their own horse archeries, which, as we all know, is a staple of horse military, of course. Well, I don't think you can
I think
beat
horse
that,
teeth
Tessa.
are just like some weird sharp teeth that horses have.
Okay.
No,
Tessa?
I'm going to. They don't actually use arrows at all. This is some kind of wolf propaganda that Braden is spreading because he's got he listens to he follows the wrong people on Twitter. I'm getting your real news. This is the truth. Wolf teeth are so when stallions used to protect the herd, there'd be the one big stallion who would fight against any other stallions who would protect all the ladies. And wolves would try and pick off these horses, and the horse would kick him so hard that his teeth would fly out. And stallions started realizing that if they collected these teeth and wore them as a necklace, they could more easily scare away predators without having to worry about injuring themselves right before mating season. So what we call horse teeth is actually the pattern of skin that you'll see on the horses kind of like underneath their neck, kind of collarbone area.
The question was, what are wolf teeth, right?
Sorry, yeah, that's what I meant to say was wolf teeth.
Okay.
So they wear the wolf teeth around the horse's neck.
What? How
Sorry,
did they
I'm
tie
all
a
confused.
necklace?
Yeah. I mean,
How would they
the
shoot
archery
a
makes
bow?
sense. The tying a necklace makes no sense.
All right, fine. How about this? They're little teeth in the mouth, like right before the molars, but they're not sharp. They're just kind of like almost like wisdom teeth. They're there behind where the bit would normally be, but they're just kind of like jutting out from the gums, and they don't really do anything.
Minus 5 points for Tessa. I heard you Googling it.
What?
As we were talking.
No, dude. I promise I looked up the Tumblr post that I shared you earlier because I wasn't sure if you were going to talk about that. I'll send you a photo.
No, you're right. It is that. There's 2 vestigial teeth called wolf teeth. Or is it 4? I'm not sure. But they often remove those teeth because they get in the way of the bit. And the bit will just sit on the gums where those teeth were. The thing is, what they don't tell you is that those bits are actually ancient, like, remnants of, like, armor that horses would wear. And oftentimes, their crossbows were kind of linked up to the bit as a firing mechanism.
Yeah.
That's hot.
Yeah.
My God. Don't share
I want to be
kind
part of the world building.
I'm just saying, it's like, Braden's getting too turned on already. I can tell from this distance.
I know.
Be careful with what you say.
No!
Oh God. Oh God. I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. I became a werehorse and I fucked this desk. It's oblivion.
Anyways, horse mating.
All right, is that it for the questions? We're already out of horse trivia?
Don't worry, it's all good.
Damn.
We're already at half an hour or more, so.
What? We want to give the fans more of what they want, Mikhail, and what they want more of is Braden and I focusing hard in a game show.
So anyways, how do you think horse fucking goes?
I think horses, I think actually we've gotten it all wrong. I think the horse vagina is really big and hangs out of the body, kind of like a hyena. And it just like swings
opposite?
up behind her and like envelops the tiny horse penis.
Claps around the dick. It's
The
like
tiny horse penis.
It like
It's like-
massages the horse penis.
it's called
that-
equine twerking, where they just like
But
shake
it's
their
just
butts
the
until their
vagina.
labia
It's-
flap around a penis.
It's just the vagina and like the clitoris are just like massaging the penis. And the penis is basically vestigial.
The penis is vestigial. It's just all you would need is a nub to be sucked dry by this vagina.
They have like the penis is vestigial, but the balls are enormous. The balls are actually inside the horse,
Yeah.
and where we think the butt is, that's its testes in there. And it ejaculates all of that out like a geyser.
And it just collapses. It's horrible for its hips.
Yeah, it's horrible for its hips. That's why the doctor has to be there holding it open.
The real takeaway from the mating is just look it up, because it's just normal, like fucking having sex with shit.
From behind sex.
Yeah, but the penis is like, it's like a leg onto itself. Like, it's huge.
Horse
And also they
penis.
Yep. Also, they bite the back of the female neck quite a bit.
Oh, yeah,
which
I've heard
brings
this.
me to the point I wanted to make earlier, which is like, there's a pretty good video online of this guy who like is super proud of the fact that he has sex with all his horses.
Ugh.
You see that, Brayden? And it's like he's got, I don't know if it's a joke or if it's like real and just somehow exists, but he talks about how like certain horses are just the right height, no bucket required.
No bucket.
Yeah, because normally you have to stand on a bucket. I don't advocate bestiality.
That's
by
so
the way.
gross. Don't be.
There's that really famous story of
The cult or whatever.
So it used to be in Washington or Washington, D.C., there was a loophole. You were allowed to fuck animals on farm property because they had like a different distinction for whatever reason for farm properties.
Yeah.
Until there's a video of a man being reared
Intimate?
by a horse.
Okay.
Mounted
Wait.
and fucked in the ass by a horse.
Didn't someone die like that?
Yes, this is the video I'm talking about.
Oh, I didn't. I
They
never saw the
came to
actual
completion and shredded his innards.
video. Liveleak.com.
Okay, as much as we joke about it, we don't actually advocate bestiality. And also, I want to think that this law was not that, oh, you can have sex with animals on farms. I think it was more like you cannot have sex with animals in cities. And people were like, you didn't include farms.
Yeah,
Fuck,
that's
fuck,
the
Yeah,
loophole.
fuck.
that's definitely it. That's definitely it.
Because the reverse, the inverse would be really fucked up if it was just like unnoticed for years in this law book. And like, it's perfectly fine in the state of Washington, D.C. to have sex with animals on farms.
But yeah, I think the point I really wanted to get across is I've never seen this video, of course.
Of course, though, I feel like I thought you were going to say the opposite.
I have heard love to specify that just before the camera cuts out, he asks the man,
"Oh my god, what the fuck? Are you serious?"
That's what I heard.
So uncomfortable.
That's what I heard when I was watching the video. Okay. All right.
It's like that jar video.
Where they have sex with a jar.
He's putting the jar
No.
inside his butt.
A guy puts a mason jar up his butt.
Oh my god.
But it breaks.
With a lid on?
And then he...
With the lid on it?
I don't think the lid's on it.
Oh, thank God.
It's just like, you just hear a pop. And he's like, oh, Mom!
Mom?
Because it broke inside his
It broke
butt.
in his asshole.
We've all been there, folks.
Don't
All right.
do this. If you put, pro tip to our listeners, if you're still around, if you're going to put something in your butt, make sure it's not breakable, make sure it's not a horse cock, and
Have a
make sure
spotter.
it has a flange that it will not get sucked up inside you.
Safe sex tips. It's true.
Sex tips. Okay, here's a bit of trivia that I have found today. I was on Twitter earlier today, and I saw somebody share this little bit of horse facts, and I'm going to share it with you because it's horrifying. They're like, a lot of horses' horrible health issues are not because we humans have bred them to be like that. Like, we fucked up dogs. We can own that. Horses came pre-fucked up. Like, horses' lungs will bleed when they run at a certain speed.
Yeah.
They'll just burst
I
in
think
the blood.
I saw that on one of our followers' feeds.
I think that was on
Sewer
autoplay after the horse fucking video I was watching that you just told me
Oh,
about.
it could be. It could be.
Yeah.
If a horse's diet is too rich or low in selenium, their hooves will fall off.
Yeah, that's
I
a
did
big
hear
thing
about
on
that,
Tumblr
actually.
right now.
Yeah,
I hear that like 3 times today.
You're not on Tumblr, Brayden. Maybe you just saw me tweet it.
No, I saw... Fine, it's also big on Twitter, but people specify that they saw it on Tumblr.
Yeah, no, somebody.
Yeah,
this
Tessa.
this tweet was a link to this Tumblr post. I'm reading it. I'm just like, Brayden's not on Tumblr. How did he find out about it?
Braden secretly, he's running
Followed me on-
Tumblr.
Like secretly, he has. Secretly,
nobody's
he's the
running
rest
Tumblr.
of Tumblr. It's
Shit
just,
show.
it's just like me and Brayden, and that's the only people that are on Tumblr.
Let's get real. No one really wants Braden on Tumblr.
No!
either.
I don't want me on Tumblr.
Yeah, good. Let's
Brayden
keep
would
it that
not
way.
enjoy it. Also, okay, last
I
creepy
don't.
fact.
It's not a good format.
Basically, all of a horse's leg is finger.
Yeah, the whole anatomy. The Wikipedia article actually breaks it down into like what part of the finger is what part of the animal.
It's like
or
what
like
we
the horse.
What we think of their knee is really their elbow, and then underneath that is finger, and that's why horses can get like so fucked up so easily by like their legs can break so easily. It's because they don't have a lot of muscle there. Like they don't have a lot of muscle there. It's just cartilage and tendons, which is why their bones break so easily. And it's like
And the analogy that they draw is like it's like walking on your fingernails.
yeah, I've heard that. I always heard that the horse hoof was like a fingernail, but I just assumed it was like a rhino horn and it was just made of keratin. I didn't know it was
made
a
of
finger.
keratin. It is made of keratin.
It is, yeah, but I didn't like know that it was also a literal fingernail because that was the finger, basically.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, it's time for the hypothetical question of the week.
Hypothetical question of the week.
Hypothetical question of the
Question of the week.
Question of the week.
Okay, so which of these two animals, the osprey or the horse, would win a game of soccer?
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Here's the details. The animals both have the brain of a human.
Okay.
So just get that out of the way, because obviously that would be a problem.
Okay.
The soccer rules are regular soccer rules, so it's like an hour and a half, whatever dumb rules soccer have. Okay, so you can kick and you can header or whatever, like you can use your body parts, but you can't pick up the ball, so neither the horse or the osprey can pick it up.
Okay. Then
So who would win?
hands down the fucking horse, because its legs are so much longer. It would kick the ball once, and the osprey
But it
would
has no
have to
defense.
hop.
But it has no defense.
Yeah, that's fine. The
No,
horse,
it's not.
The
No, it's
horse
not.
is so much faster and runs so its legs are so much longer and it's so much more beautiful. It will gracefully run and kick this ball,
beauty.
and the horse, the osprey would just be running along on its little osprey legs, and it could try and fly, but
The
then what's
osprey
it
would
gonna
not be
do?
running.
Yeah, the osprey
Like-
can fly.
Yeah, it can fly up to the ball, and then it's gonna like what? Hip check it,
Whack it with its
headbutt
wings.
It. What? It can't use its arms, Mikhail.
They're not arms, they're wings.
Yeah.
I didn't say you couldn't use your arms.
Have you never read Animal Farm? Wings count as legs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mikhail.
You
Oh, wait,
can't
that's
pick it
not
up with
me.
your talons,
Fuck.
is what I mean.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
it's still, a soccer ball is actually like really powerful. I feel like if an osprey hit it with its wing, it would just completely disintegrate the wing.
No,
And the
man.
ball would barely
Those wings
go.
are so super powerful.
Yeah,
okay.
they're-
Here's my
it's
here's
tiny
mine.
bones are so frail.
Okay. Brayden, hit me.
So, this obviously requires training. This is not a first game strategy. Are we talking about a first game? Like the first game they ever play against each other?
Let's say it's the first game they've ever played, but they've had practice time.
Okay.
On their own.
Okay, how much practice?
A day.
Day. Yeah,
Like a
that'll be
full
enough.
day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Osprey are going to get that ball vertical.
Wait, Brayden,
And then
can
they're
you
just going
repeat what
to
you
drum
said?
it between themselves.
Yeah, I
Brayden,
think that's
Mikhail, can
totally
you get
possible.
Brayden to repeat what he said?
Why?
What did you call the bird?
Osprey.
Osprey?
Osprey?
He's,
It's osprey.
You're saying osprey. That's what I'm hearing.
Osprey.
Is
You're getting
osprey.
hung up on the details when what he's trying to do is agree with me.
That's why I'm getting hung up in the details.
The
That's
Osprey,
right.
yeah, they're going to juggle it in the sky. And
See-
they're going to have the vertical, and the horse isn't going to stand a chance.
Yes.
The
I
soccer is
100%
so
agree.
much bigger than the like the osprey is the size of the soccer ball. It's not going to have the leg strength to kick it up into the air. The horse is
It's
going to
not
walk
having
over
to
there,
kick
It doesn't have to kick it. It can wing it.
like
it can
body
header it.
juggle it in the air while it's flying. That's going to be way too
Yeah.
difficult.
Not impossible.
Not
though.
Yeah,
Possible.
way easier for the horse to walk on over and kick it with its beautiful long legs.
Okay,
And
think
then
about it this way.
headbutt it with its beautiful big head.
The horse is like
Hit it
1,000
with its
pounds or
huge
whatever, right?
horse penis.
Yeah, right. No penises. That's a rule. The horse has like literally the worst turning radius of like every animal, right? So as soon as the osprey get it from them, even just once, that it's over. They'll score every time there's a turnover.
Okay, I thought it was like 1v1. I didn't know it was going to be like a pack of horses versus a pack of osprey. This changes things a little bit.
Yeah, no,
No,
it's
it doesn't,
it's
because
10
the
versus 10.
horses still win.
Okay, why?
Horses can see everything around them. They will be able to see their fellow players way easier. They can pass the ball, and then one of them can headbutt it to another one, who will hit it with its big butt, and then the other one will like do a cool back kick, and it will go into the goal. It will hit
Horses-
the osprey who is flying, and the osprey will get hit with the ball, and they'll both go flying into the goal like a cartoon.
You're asking it to be able to see its own backside
You're
way better
asking an
than anything
osprey
else.
to be able to juggle a ball in the air while it's flying.
With a full day of training.
And a human mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the horses have human minds as well.
But they're kind of dumb, though.
Well, you're saying humans are dumb then.
I am. But also, don't forget that horses have really, really bad depth perception because they don't really have binocular vision, right? They
Well,
have,
and
like, the sideways
Osprey
vision.
have really bad depth perception, and they think they're invincible, so they're gonna die.
Osprey have amazing depth perception?
I said death perception and made a joke. You weren't
Okay,
listening.
well, now you're just making shit up.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah, I'm
real.
sorry, I
Tessa.
forgot that's not what this
all-
episode was about.
Yeah, this is all real
About
shit.
all facts all the time on Live from the Gardens. Okay, well, I'm outvoted, but I'm not changing my answer. I'm still... If
don't
this
care.
ever comes, if/when this comes, FIFA 2020, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm betting on the horses.
Speaking of the future, next week we'll be talking about Animorphs number 15, The Escape, and the following week we'll be talking about the morphs from that book, as usual. Until then, you can find more of our stuff on our podcast page at collectivelegacy.org, as well as on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr. Remember to smash those like and subscribe buttons, or a team of osprey will rip out your eyes on their way to a sick goal against the horses, despite their ancient technology.
I'm going to be real with you listeners here. We haven't talked about them before then, but we have been in horse culture. It has become, our podcast has become known, and horses don't like it. So if you show your displeasure at our podcast, it will make the horses so excited that they will ejaculate and drown the world. And we don't want that.
That is actually how the horses believe the apocalypse will happen in their ancient religion, known as Catholicism.
Oh! It's
Father
like Cloud Atlas in here!
Father Donahue! He's coming back again!
For the Animorphs, I've been Mikhail, the host.
I'm Tessa, the expert.
And I'm Braden, and I'm very sorry about all the things I said about Catholics.
And this has been Live from the Gardens, a Fanimorph podcast about how to be a convincing Animorph. If you'd like to correct or clarify any of the poorly researched animal facts in this episode of Live from the Gardens, feel free to contact us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook by searching for Fanimorphs, the Dork-Bajir Chronicles. And remember, stay safe, stay hidden. Are you tired of sitting in silence, staring at walls?
Do your ears yearn for something more than the sound of your life passing you by?
Try Inadmissible, a podcast designed by a leading team of experts in the field of excitementology and non-boringness.
On Inadmissible, you'll hear Quinn and Mikhail, two of our bleeding-edge analysts, break down and rebuild the worst ads you've ever had the misfortune to experience.
Listen in as they tear apart lackluster emotional tactics.
Gather around as they explain why you shouldn't make your product look like a steaming pile of garbage.
Poop jokes.
All this and more on Inadmissible, a podcast about terrible advertising. For more details, visit collectivelegacy.org.
Inadmissible should not be consumed if you are easily offended or your tolerance for immaturity is lower than that of a 6-year-old child. Inadmissible may cause fits of laughter so intense your lungs may suffer from burst blood vessels. Consult your doctor before listening to Inadmissible.
Inadmissible, a podcast about terrible ads. Brought to you by
Collective Legacy,
a podcast network.